That's a good one.
That was good.
You need music?
It would help, but
Smell like dogs?
Okay, hold on.
I'm trying to memorize all of it.
Smell like dogs?
Yeah, we have another one of these. Where's the other one?
Should have had music stand.
Where we have
Oh, Larry, I moved the music stand, it's right
There we go.
over there.
Well, that's really helpful. Thank you.
So, dude, what's Judy got?
What's that? Oh, that's great.
Make sure you
All right. I think he's got, I saw some tracks there. I don't know. I didn't see the smoker go.
I was gonna say, I think it'll be at least 3 or 4 hours to smoke up, right?
Aware of that. It's a little late. Should have been smoking in the morning.
Hey, Ross? We need your keyboards pretty soon. What do we say? We want to build the keyboards because he's I'm sorry.
Get those out of the way. Yeah, I'm just gonna move these temporarily. I'll get my violin out of the way.
What are we doing first there?
Come back here.
Gold on the ceiling, but we're gonna need him on keyboards. Let's skip that. Let's do come on. No keyboard there.
Okay, Rich, is he coming?
Yeah, hold on a minute. Let's bring in the can.
Birdie, over here. Birdie, Nia, go. Go. What is it?
Oh, you're here.
You do, okay.
What time?
I forget. My flight's at like 6 o'clock, something like that.
Early?
No, night.
So
Okay, so you got some lead there, Randy?
Is that okay?
You guys have
Can't keep the. It's way too loud.
I'm not loud enough.
So, let me set this on.
pretty
I
loud.
can't even hear you. Can you hear him?
Everybody needs to be
Yeah, you
louder.
could.
Yeah.
Maybe- There you go.
We can talk later. I'd love to hear it turn up. You know us. We love it. Right, Dick? Alright. Okay, we're in the lead break. Where I play.
Okay. One, two. I like you guys are doubling that lead. Okay,
What's that?
Rocket 88.
David, that sounds great.
That's really good.
All right, which one are we doing?
How's the next day?
Rock 88,
Blue Shuffle in E. And then the turnaround.
Yeah. Not much fun, but
Yeah, he's recording.
yeah,
Good.
Right?
Heard that one a few times, Dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got lead, Randy?
Yeah.
Take off.
I read that certain deal.
How long ago, whatever date that was. Yeah, that was
Long
one.
time ago.
I busted out when I went to. It was funny, yeah.
Wait, what did you
I had a name, so. At the time.
Rocket 88, it's just the blues, it's
Rocket 88 is in a week or two.
16 almost at the,
So,
before Secret Agent.
You do what you
after
can.
Before Daniel, before Come On.
Okay,
we're at once a year maybe.
for Melissa?
Still have it.
Hold on.
Perfect.
After Melissa,
Okay, like the
two tunes after Melissa.
I still have that one. It's bad.
It's just blues and E.
You'll see, it's bad. Bad.
So you're gonna be rocky, bluesy, shuffly thing. Okay. Ready, Randy?
Yeah. Still looking.
Yeah.
Alright, a little
Okay.
face, this giant hair. Hey, Randall? Yeah, it was pretty fun. That's what I
See David? He's like that prima donna guitar player.
Hold on, you're in on
I know.
first beat.
John jumped the gun.
Down.
Yeah, you guys gotta turn up.
You gotta
I
turn
don't know,
it
I
up. Yeah.
mean, it's
Oh,
not allowed.
Oh, wait, turn the main up. You got your, here, there's your level, that's your gain. But,
That's on the solo channel, he's on the rhythm channel right now.
oh.
Yeah. You guys keep turning it for the.
There you go.
I see how it works out.
So that's your level, that's your gain. So you just take a little gain out.
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's just try, just try to lead right there.
Yeah, there we go. That's
One,
better.
go ahead. Just try playing lead so I can see you here. Go ahead. One, go.
That sounded a lot better.
Yeah, we
we didn't
didn't
hear
hear you. Couldn't even hear you.
Stop. What do we do now? Let's do it again.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
got that there? Do that one more
You
time?
like wipe your hands on
So you go like that.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And wipe your hands on me.
Say tell.
Yeah. Hey,
Good.
what a difference, like a tight bass player. Like,
Yeah.
he just keeps driving it forward. It's like, you better stay in
Yeah.
line, man. He's gonna run you over.
Yeah.
Secret agents?
Okay.
Okay, so we start off with like a air gun riff like that.
Well, you start off with B-52s, right?
And then he's gonna do a B-52s riff. Yeah, okay. And he's gonna end on after he's on the fourth one, then we're into
Lines go. It's chill.
Am I doing that solo?
The whole thing.
yeah, all right, I did so. Wait, where's the start?
Can you?
Yeah, it's true. Speak about
Setting again? Sometimes I think it's something really wrong here. Okay, so take it from that lead.
The guy that. Well, I mean,
The NOS was just getting ready to go off. You gotta stop. The NOS was just getting ready to go off. She was ready to explode on that
I was
next
ready,
verse. And you guys just stopped and was like, oh man.
Okay, last one, come on.
Come on now. That's not fair. You gotta start earlier.
Should I do organ or?
No, do nothing.
did nothing.
Larry, you gotta love this guy. Like, you guys don't even say it.
Yeah.
You start playing and he's
Oh, yeah.
like, comes right in. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, alright, cool. I guess he knows that.
The only one problem is he actually playing some of these songs correctly and I'm not. They're trying to do
Exactly. That's
Okay.
So that's where the right concept.
Shit, now he's showing me up.
Yeah.
Lead, you got lead.
You're showing up the guy organized.
People talking, but they just don't know.
Oh, really? We'll never learn that. So, never. Right off the bat.
People talking, but they just don't know. It's in my heart and I love you so. I love you, baby, like a mine loves gold. Come on, sugar, let the good times roll. Hey, let the good times roll. Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Let's go, baby, let the good times roll. Baby. Let the good times roll. And many people live in make-believe. They keep a lot going up their sleeve. I love baby in the county bowl. Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Hey, let the good times roll. All that good soul. Let the good times roll. It's even nicer when you're feeling good. You got me flipping like a flag on a pole. Come on, sugar, let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Let the bad and good times roll. Let the good times roll. Let the good times roll.
We're not really that loud.
No,
So you're definitely.
Oh, I just gotta go take care of an errand, make that appearance.
What's that?
what's that?
Return.
Alright,
Yeah, you shower, sir.
and I'll show you
Not
everything.
here.
Hey,
Hey,
how are you doing?
It was probably hard to a little more, well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of noise, but what you just
So
try
that's
to
right
do
at
in
your,
your
from here.
initial channel, that's a NASCAR from the
Side
side
of your house, right
Sure,
here.
it's not all the way up.
We'll show you.
Slowly doing a mastering and with this much noise. That's the way you do.
Help me? Sure.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, high stress thing. So she needed the vacation.
I love this music.
Huh.
It was cool. So
Yeah, because I think if you, instead of having your master, start, no, that's like that's great. Does it set the tones on there? I mean, should I preamp?
See, they got a game and a level.
Well, you got like 3 channels for different things. Like solos, like your high gain setting, rhythms like moderate and occasional.
You know about that, how to get distortion out of an amp without, because I think his master's too high, so there's a lot of hum.
So you mean like
Yeah.
you're trying to get like some distortion or some gain out of the clean channel or like some crunch of
Are both channels reasonably the same, or do you like one of the other channels better? Does one have more effects or something?
Well, the rhythm channel, it has more, like you can mold it more, but it
Okay.
has less gain overall.
Okay.
That channel. Yeah, that
It's
channel's
already
better.
better. Another that guitar players usually hear from bass players is if you have your bass on your amp too high, it kind of mudds your sound a little bit and it makes it a little harder to hear a solo. So if you take the bass back a little bit,
Yeah, what are you
it'll
gonna do?
sing better and it won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you stop putting, you should hear any woo after that. You wanna- Yeah, be quiet.
Yeah.
Did you get introduced to Ross?
Yeah, drop it.
Did you guys meet?
No, it's not.
That's Ray's kid, 16. I think I've seen videos of you. He doesn't usually like to look at young boys. Hey, what's going on? What's up, dude? How are you? Here we go. Stuff is. You like that?
Yeah, I've seen all of them.
Take that on off while I play. All it says is solo and clean, so out is clean for both of these. I think it's like a.
Maybe it's running both. It's in there on the spot right here.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's probably every amp has a different setup, huh?
That's what we done.
Every single one has a different location.
Yeah, it has a different aspect of the components, you know?
Yeah. It's real touchy with two amps, you know. The old amp things in Marshall. The tubes make so much hiss and noise anyways that when you're trying to work with it in that
that box of distortion, but not make those amp just make noise on its own.
Right.
Real touchy on the transistor amp. Yeah, not so much.
Yeah.
Put my violin back here.
There's a, you know, you want it to make it have teeth, you know, some teeth to it rather than being washed out.
It's kind of tricky because, like the old Ampex, the old V4, VT22, do you ever play through those? Those are,
No.
they don't, you know, in the old days, in the 70s,
The guitar.
yeah, because their bass amps, of course, are great, but their guitar amps were just stupid loud. They were like high water Marshall, they were just ouch loud, but more of a Fender tone. More of a Fender type tone as opposed to a British type tone.
Yeah.
Stuff you're doing Stones or blues, they're actually pretty good amps.
It's pretty good for that.
But if somebody has one and they haven't worked with all the setups and it's a little more difficult
It
to
can be
get
ratty.
the tone right. It
Yeah,
is
this isn't
very
my amp.
It is, uh-huh.
And what I've gone to is this. So I'm doing emulators and I'm
Nice.
doing all kinds of stuff. So
Mhm.
what I'm actually looking for, and maybe you can help me, with maybe you know some products, I need a flat, good 12-inch.
Uh-huh.
Because this is everything. This is the head.
Sure.
Right? Or gives
All your
my
tones
effects.
coming out of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mhm.
So when I get into one of these, they've got too much in their system
Right.
already.
Mhm. I know exactly
I
what
need
you're talking
a
about.
pure speaker.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
you
need a good 12 with some power.
Anybody who makes some good
Fender
cabinets.
tends to be,
Fender makes some
Fender
plain
tends to,
cabinets?
well, not really plain, but I mean,
I
in
would
terms
get
of tone coloration, if you're getting most of your stuff out of like a digital reverb. and
Right.
all that, then Fenders tend to be more neutral than a lot of the other things, you know.
even the ones that have the electronics, the heads with bass and tone and everything are still pretty transparent.
I think so. It's kind of weird, like if you're a bass player, we think differently, 100% from guitarists. We think almost opposite of the way guitar players think, because we're looking for as much RMS with as little distortion as possible. You add a little color in to give it some edge, you know, or wattage, you know, clean RMS power.
Uh-huh.
You know, you rate an amp by its RMS power, how many watts it is.
Oh, okay.
And that's an old electronic term for root means square, RMS.
Okay.
But, but like that amp there is a gorgeous amp because it's 1200 watts.
I will see you soon, man. Okay. It's
Yeah,
100.
1200, it's like a PA head.
Yeah.
But I play in a church sometimes and when it gets quiet in there, you can hear a pin drop even though I've got the amp up really loud.
You don't get any noise.
And nothing. And
That's amazing.
I'm used to the old SWR and the Ampeg SPT. I own both of those. Two heads. But they always make a lot of, you know,
Yeah.
noise, hum noise. With the dimmers and the lights, they'll make noise. You know, neon lights on a wall will make noise, you know.
Are there tubes in that?
No, it's actually solid state, but it's such a clean amplifier that
And custom?
yeah, like the old days, sort of. But that's a
Fantastic.
pretty well made amp. The only problem is they use cheap parts on the preamp in the front.
I see that, yeah.
Cheap parts, you know, they try to save 2 cents per unit.
Oh,
Chinese manufacturing, and that, I would almost endorse them or write them a letter because the older amplifiers had very tough, like knobs,
Yeah,
you know.
this is not, yeah. I see.
And yeah, in fact, that preamp volume is no good. So I run it all the way full.
Which one?
Oh, I'll show you, on the, where the plug is.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But,
Right there.
but I took it to a technician and it was making all kinds of racket and he opened it all up and it's a little tiny part, whereas the older blind pops on like you tear apart an Ampeg SPT or an Ampeg, it's a large, you know, it's got a big, it's like inside of a Les Paul, those big round volume controls.
Okay.
They make little cheap tiny ones. Fender kind of started doing that too. The older amps have tougher parts and the plugs too. They solder to plastic on your, you know, your circuit. So if it busts, like somebody runs by and kicks it or cracks it,
Yeah.
you have to replace the whole board, you know, like a computer. It's terrible.
Yeah.
The old days you could solder a tough, but those slightly tougher, you know, $2 a piece parts were worth their dime.
Gotcha.
But this amp is beautiful in that.
Oh, yeah, yes, I can't hear it.
But we're always looking for clean power, and guitars are just the opposite. In fact, a lot of great albums were recorded with 15-watt amps, you know, little tiny amps.
Yeah.
But they blast the thing to almost burning it up, and then they put a bunch of mics in a little isolation room. And
Right.
you get that distortion, a heavy distortion sound, you know.
Oh, that's how they did that. Because I know some of my buddies are really into all that, and he was showing me the Anthony Page did some
Bill
famous
Zeppelin. Yeah, Bill Zeppelin tried to do like a
Box.
silver tone, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a little,
a wooden old
a
box.
single 12 seems to be a good choice for live. If you're using a single 12.
Yeah.
I mean, those are good.
You know?
Okay.
but this isn't working as good. I like this thing, but you know, as you know, probably know, in an impromptu situation like this, it's hard because
Oh,
you have to sound check those really good. Every stomp has to be recalibrated for the room before you do a sound check.
I'm kind of the opinion, just being a bass player, because like the old precision, because I got a jazz over here, right? But the precision, it has a volume and a tone, 2 controls. It's like, how can you mess it up? You know, they all sound identical. You can sound exactly like any record that had a P bass on it with just a volume and a tone. It's not hard to do.
Yeah.
And guitar players, they get everybody's making so many tricks and effects and bells and whistles and things that it gets overly cumbersome, I think.
Oh yeah, it can be.
I remember one guitarist I was working with, and he had the Marshall, it was a rehearsal hall. And he had one of those Marshall ones that has 2 rows of knobs. You ever seen those?
Oh my God, yeah.
It's one of those later JCMs.
Yeah.
And it's like he couldn't dial it in to save his life. It's like,
Right.
what channel am I on? Both? Neither? One? The other?
I
You
know.
know, and then each one has a brilliance, bright, treble.
Oh my God, right. And so it's like you never settle on a sound. You know, it's too many options.
The beauty of those old spinners, like the old Bandmaster, the old Showman, they're kind of like the old bass amps that have 4 or 5 knobs. You know.
And that's it,
And
right?
it simplifies your work so you have an effect. If the effect is too loud or making static or got a bad problem or something, you can quickly isolate that it's either your amp is the problem or not.
Right.
Whereas something like, look at that one, that's one's got 14, that one's
Yeah.
Line 6, you know, and Line 6 is a real headache amp for people. Their best sounding, they sound beautiful, but dialing them in is a real
Yeah.
problem.
If you don't go to school, like I studied this for a long time, just to figure all that out.
Good,
Because if you
good.
don't, you're lost. That's it.
It's so true.
You're lost. But you can get a good sound, but you need to go to study it. You can't.
Yeah, you have to be, and work with other players who are up on their stuff.
And they have a computer program that allows you to get on it. You can either program it manually or in this computer interface. It's much easier.
What's the name of it?
You owe it to yourself to learn all that because it's easier to use. But it's a
Oh, yeah.
Zoom. They have
Oh, okay, yeah.
an elaborate number. It's called a G9.2 TT.
Uh-huh.
And look what you can do. I'm into like making art music too.
Uh-huh.
So I want to be able to control all my envelopes and filters. So I can be moving up and doing like a wah effect here, and then open it like this, and open the reverb at the same time. So I do a lot of things like that where I get some
Nice.
incredible colors.
Several effects at once, yeah.
Yeah, and then I could if I wanted have this be more than just volume. So sometimes I'll be seated.
Yeah, Zoom makes good stuff.
Yeah, they make some
I
good
like
stuff.
stuff.
Really good stuff. And then there's a tube, processes the signal coming in.
Uh-huh.
And of course it goes through the digital chips, and then the tube processes the channel going out. So turning it all the way up gives me like a tube amp feel to it. So
So
they
it has like a 1287 built into it or something?
yeah, there's one
Yeah.
here and one here.
Very good.
And but I had to study this for 2 weeks.
That's great though, it's worth the work.
It is worth the work. And then I got a boomerang sampler. That's a looper.
Oh, okay, good, good.
And then I'm not using it tonight, but I got the Line 6 wireless system. Works really well.
That's awesome, too.
And then GPS. This is a Guitar Fetish. Have you heard of that?
Is
Guitar
that about
players
G-
love that. It's a guitarfetish.com. Has really good all kinds of guitar gear for cleaning it and tech stuff. And then they make Korg makes one of those, but it's like $80. And then they do a knockoff for like 40.
And what does that do? Does it powerful your
This is
stuff
a tuner.
or- A tuner? Okay.
And nice big tuner, so I can see what I'm doing. And then as soon as you turn it on the tuner, it mutes, and then you turn it back off, and you go right back through the chain.
Oh, very good.
But it's pretty clean sounding. I
Yeah,
just need this piece of it. This old
Yeah.
amp isn't working anymore. It hits this amp, and like the brittle digital sound comes out. It is a Behringer. It's the cheapest one. And it's been alright. Their head was okay. GX112. It's been okay for a while, but it's actually not processing this signal very well.
Right.
I need.
Behringer doesn't have a good track record with me, and I've been fair. In fact, they have
Most people tell me that.
They had a bass amp in Rip House over there in Fullerton, and the guy was playing through it, and it started smoking, like a smoke bomb.
Yeah.
And I'm all like, and he makes all this, the transformer's literally on fire and burning up. And their equipment is really, well, they could build better.
It's just not. And if you actually, I asked a guy once, I said, yeah, how do you like that? I have a mixed Behringer, a little Behringer mixing board. I've got
Mhm, That's
another
maybe
one.
not so bad, yeah.
Well, I got a nice Alesis now.
Much
They,
better.
they make a
They
great,
make a better board. yeah.
beautiful board, and I can come out of it USB and do 10 tracks. Everything going through the mixer, through the PA, is going discreetly to its own track on my recorder.
Nice.
So I can do a live gig with a PA mixer.
Mhm.
At the same time, it's recording as if it's a full digital audio workstation.
Beautiful.
It's pretty killer. But no, I had a friend, he was doing, you know, we often work with, when we have like solo and you're doing vocals and a couple other things, you run everything through a board.
Mhm.
And he had a Behringer too, and I said, how do you like that? He's like, they suck. If you use them for any amount of serious time,
Yeah, they're not rugged.
They
They're
just
not heavy
break
duty.
down.
That's one of the big problems.
and
They're
it's
not
okay
bad
to try it in the store.
Sure.
Right.
Right, but,
You get it home and do it, a number of things, and sure enough, I got mine home. And let's face it, they make them as cheap as they possibly can.
Sure.
So they're crappy. And next thing you know, the power cables. And once that happens, the whole thing's screwed.
yeah, it's nothing, you know.
Yeah.
Alesis makes good, and also Mackie makes really good stuff.
Mackey's,
That's
they've gone
beautiful.
downhill though.
Really?
They make that the Onyx
Mm-hmm.
line. I was at.
They make a good recording. Well, I have a friend who does recordings at his house, and he has a small.
Is it plastic or metal?
Good question. I don't know.
The chassis
It's
is
same
metal.
too?
It's
Uh-huh.
before they sold it to the Japanese.
Oh, okay.
They
make-
sold the
yeah,
company.
Well, that'll wreck anything. That'll wreck anything.
And I went to guitar because I saw my friend. He has what's called the Mackie Onyx series. Really nice. Metal chassis.
Uh-huh.
Everything's real good. And I went to guitar player. Guitar center. And I was like, all plastic. Wow. It's the last one I saw.
Their older stuff is good.
The guy told me, so it's all
Most of the stuff is yeah, they started building them, I think, either India or Indonesia or some Elkhart, Indiana. I just figured, you know, the secret for lead guitar players, though, I think among all my friends who are top guitar players, is learning something about speakers, actual speakers, so let's, you know, well, it makes an enormous difference. It's more important than anything else in the house. They did not know that, but I figured that one out. I figured that out by mistake on my hit sampler.
What do you love your guitar players like? The Celestials?
They use the selections, but they're, I mean, it's funny, they'll do research and it's like, what does Jeff Beck use, what does so-and-so use, you know? What did Stevie Ray Vaughan figure out? And there are different issues of Celestion. There's 25, 35 watt, there's one's called greenbacks, there's all these different ones. And the thing is, well, here's the thing, like I've got a Yamaha 215 speaker box, right? And it used to have Yamaha speakers. When I got it, it used to use Yamaha, maybe rated at 140 watts. Spectacular. But playing the teachers, the rock music were, we were going to recite for teachers. And I had a set of Moog Taurus pedals. I love those. I'm getting, you know.
Oh,
And we get to this song, and we're doing it C major, it's a low C, that's a low pedal. And I kicked that sucker, and I had the bass going on that. And it was just like a light bulb burning out. They burned out. I cooked them, playing live. Well, here's the weird thing. I went to a place called the Percussion Musician Exchange. This guy in it's like over there, the 8, you know, they have Angel.
Yeah.
And they have a place where they have used equipment, right? So they have used JBLs. And I think, is that the soda?
Yeah.
Is that cherry?
Oh, cherry.
Cherry, yeah. Wow. So, yeah.
So, yeah. You went to the exchange.
So I bought two. Holy God, no, unbelievable. I cannot even